Hi, this is Dave, Fell Running Guide. Welcome to another navigation task. Slightly different one this week. So what you can see here is a satellite trace of a run that I did, and I want you to see if you can compare it to the map and work out where I went, and particularly what I was looking for at these two red locations, and then also what happened at this yellow location. So this is on my way back. What happened there? The map that we're using is the Ordnance Survey 1 to 25,000. This is a North Yorkshire area. So I'd never been here before. I just fancied a bit of a run, easy run, a bit of exploring, a bit of navigating. So I thought I'd head out from Reeth up in a northeasterly direction up onto the moors here. We can see it's sort of post-industrial moorland. We've got quarries, we've got evidence of mining with shafts disused, and we've got grouse butts, so it's grouse moorland. So let's have a look at that trace and see if we can work out where I actually went. Okay, so we're starting from the village, heading sort of southeasterly and easterly, crossing the river, and then northeastwards up parallel to the river. Forget this location for now, we'll revisit that on the way back, and then swinging northwards and slightly northeastwards up here. Took this higher path, looks like past some buildings here, and then continue pretty much eastwards here, and onto this point here where we can see we're getting into grouse moorland now, and then take a right angle there. Looks like I joined some kind of track, and then along here looks like I joined another track here, and head out along here to a point there, and then I come back and do a sort of a 90-degree bend or 90-degree turn there. So let's see if we can work some of that out. So this is the obvious route I'm taking down here and crossing the river here at the road bridge, up this public right-of-way, up the other side, swinging round, and then more northeasterly. And these were the buildings here that I went past. Continuing along here, this boundary line here is where we could see the change in terrain with the grouse moorland to the northeast. So we came across there, and here was the access point for this public right of way up roughly to cross the boundary wall here and then get in to the grouse moorland. And that little 90-degree I did to start with was I took a direct line up to this track here. So this little point here where I join that track is just there. I just took a straight line because you could see it was easy running on the ground to get over to here. Continued along this track, joined this other track, and then continued eastwards, northeastwards, got to here, just ran a little bit further just to investigate what I could see down here, and then came back on myself. So there's that right angle junction there. So what could I be looking for after this point? Well, it's always worth visiting a trig point, so I was going to head up to there. So how did I do it? Well, there's no path on the map to there, so let's have a look at the satellite trace. Well, you can see that I continued on this southerly track and then got to a point where I just cut off it. I was at a point there where the ground was going to start going downhill, so I just cut inland again, just not following a path, just following the best line on the ground. It was clear visibility, and I knew I was heading to a high point, so I was quite confident that if I just followed a rough compass bearing southwestwards, I'd find that trig point. So there was the trig point, and then from there, what did I do? Well, continued southwestwards and then along a boundary, and then I crossed over and then came back on myself to this point here. So what was I looking for? Well, from the trig point, there's the boundary, along, cross, came back on myself. I was investigating what I thought was Jab's cave, and it actually was. It's not a cave, it's just a little indentation in the rocks with a little bit of a sheepfold made into it, but a little interesting point there. The reason I didn't go straight to it is I couldn't get over this. This is a big sort of 5 foot high boundary wall, dry stone wall, so I went along here where I could get over it. These were tumble down walls, so I could cross straight over, and went and had a look at Jab's cave. So that was the second red point. And then what about the yellow circle on the way back? So you can see I headed back roughly the way I'd come, slightly different line down through there, and then retraced my steps, and I got to a point here where I went down to the river and then decided against it and came back. Well, why did I do that? Well, on the map, I'll just zoom in a little bit more for you. Public right of way comes down here and then it goes down to the river, and on the other side of the river there's a public right of way there. So I was hoping to cross over, follow the public right of way, cross over and take this footpath back into Reeth rather than having to go back down and over the road. But just because the public right of way leads you to the river and there's a public right of way on the other side, it doesn't mean that you can get over without getting your feet wet. There's no bridge shown there. I was hoping it might be shallow enough, or there might be some stepping stones to let me get over, but there weren't. It just there was a little gate in the fence here, and the little path ended at the river, and that was it. So I didn't really fancy going in up to over my knees and getting wet. I thought I'd just carry on. So probably worth noting that if you are planning a route and you see a public right of way go down to a river and a public right of way immediately on the other side, don't assume that you can get over. So yeah, just a little learning point there. So there's the purple line drawn on the map. That's the actual route that I took. Yeah, hope you found it interesting. Not too difficult, I don't think, but always worth looking at some maps. But thanks for watching. Look out for next week's navigation task. Bye for now.